can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, Indian cricketer Virat Kohli makes a U-turn, says he will make himself available for the Vijay Hazare Trophy. It's a domestic tournament. As the management got its way, even as Virat Kohli makes yet another 100 against South Africa in the series that's underway. If so, is this the right way forward? After USA, Mexico makes a beeline for Cristiano Ronaldo. They schedule a friendly at the newly renovated stadium ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Has Messi and Argentina been ignored? If so, why? And is this World Cup becoming more about the CR7 magic? Over in Formula One, is the Red Bull second seat cursed? Yuki Tsunoda is forced out. Another youngster is promoted. But is Red Bull losing its way when it comes to that foil for their champion, Max Verstappen? All of that coming away. But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with football, Spain has stamped their authority as the best women's side after retaining their Women's Nations League title. They beat Germany 3-0 in the final. Claudia Pina scored a brace. The UEFA competitions has only seen Spain as its winners in the short tenure. In the English Premier League, Erling Haaland has become the fastest player to score 100 goals in the EPL. He surpasses Alan Shearer's 30-year-old record just 13 matches quicker. The Norwegian achieved the feat in Manchester City's 5-4 win over Fulham. Haaland scored the opener. Sander Berg's own goal proved to be decisive. Moving to cricket, regular Australian captain Pat Cummins is in contention for the second Ashes test. Stand-in skipper Steve Smith has declined to rule out a possible return. Smith has also hinted at middle-order batter Josh Inglis's likely inclusion in the 11. The second test begins tomorrow. Australia lead the series 1-0. India's Harshit Rana has been reprimanded for breaching level 1 of the ICC Code of Conduct. The incident occurred during the first ODI against South Africa in Ranchi. After dismissing Dewal Brevis in the 22nd over, Rana gestured towards the dressing room. Rana was given one demerit point because of this, and it's his first in the 24-month period. Summing it up with hockey, India have entered the quarterfinals of FIH Junior World Cup. They thrashed Switzerland 5-0 to finish top of the points table and stay unbeaten. India have won the Junior World Cup twice in their history, the last coming in 2016. Looks like the storm swirling around India's cricket stars Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma just won't die down. Not till the 2027 ODI World Cup at least. There's a clear, silent tug-of-war going on. And just what Rohit and Virat's future exactly will be. And looks like the reins are firmly in head coach Gautam Gambhir's grasp. The latest in this, of course, is that both stalwarts have agreed to play the Vijay Hazare Trophy. It's a bit of a U-turn, this particularly from Virat Kohli. So where do they stand in the scheme of things? And what does this decision really mean? Now, dealing with two mega stars in the last phase of their careers is never easy. It's like walking on eggshells because on one hand, of course, there's this fear of not tarnishing or damaging a legacy that's been set. And the other, the vision for the future, the vision for Team India, and whether these stalwarts really fit into those plans. Now, one thing is certain though, and it's that Gautam Gambhir wants things in place for the next World Cup cycle and immediately. That means a likely squad who will play the World Cups. Now, with Virat and Rohit only playing one format, the ODI 50-over format, the immediate concern regarding them is, of course, their availability for the ODI World Cup. Now, if the precious ODI was not enough, the fact that these two are not even uttering a word about retiring is enough indication that they want to play the 2027 World Cup. But head coach Gambhir is very firm on match practice. And since there won't be that much time and that many international games for that to happen, they need to go back to the domestic grind.
I would always like everyone to play domestic cricket. That is how much importance domestic cricket needs to be given. Not only one game. If they are available and they have the commitment, everyone should play domestic cricket.
He's clear that when the time comes, he wants to see everyone having those runs, the match fitness and form under their belt. And that includes Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Gambhir says pedigree won't do. That's not enough. And that's the tug of war really, because there is a clear difference in opinion when it comes to exactly this.
I've never been a believer in a lot of preparations. All my cricket has been mental. I work physically very hard. As long as my fitness levels are up, and then you visualize batting and feeling well, it's good.
And clear as day, you see him striking the ball the way he is in the series against South Africa. Another magnificent 100 coming in Raipur, back-to-back centuries. But the fact that Virat Kohli has stepped away from this dance to do a full reversal and make himself available for the Vijay Hazare Trophy says something. That some communication has indeed been made to both Rohit and Virat, telling them this was a necessary step. An important decision that has to come from them. A decision that says this, the management, which of course is everyone from the board to the selectors to the head coach, have been assured that Virat and Rohit are serious about their inclusion in India's plans henceforth leading up to that 2027 World Cup. And this is how that will be conveyed. Making one thing clear, and that's this. Gautam Gambhir so far is getting what he wants. Is that entirely wrong though? We know what Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma represent here. We know what they mean for Indian cricket. They are legendary figures and they are match winners. Big match players. Come the moment and they'll shine and they'll take India through. But maybe what we are forgetting is the larger and the bigger picture here, the complete picture. We need the best 11 for that World Cup. That's a logical presumption to make. And while Rohit and Virat have shown glimpses of how hungry they are and how fit they want to be, and this particular series against South Africa is proof of that, the point is we are looking at a World Cup that's still 2 years away. And a lot can transpire, change and happen in these 2 years. All the management is asking is for these two to continue being in that zone, especially when the number of fixtures that they will be involved in has drastically reduced. Obviously, because they're playing just the one format. Having said that, the one thing you cannot put aside is human emotions. These are two superstars who, whether you like it or not, need to be given that space and be handled with kid gloves. They are two athletes who have done this day in, day out for decades. So in some way, they've earned the right to at least have their own say in the way they want to prepare, especially in this last phase. The relationship in this stage, in fact, has to be a give and take. Because they aren't newbies. They come with experience. They come with a legacy that's attached to their names. They come with blinders of their own and their own way of thinking. Something they had to cultivate on their own for years now. So while it is important to keep the larger vision in mind, it's also essential to try and take them and their own perspectives along. A stern approach won't work always. A soft approach won't get the results you want every single time. It's got to be a measured response and a tactical if you want to take everyone along. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are about to rewrite football history once more. Both men are set to become the first two male footballers to feature in 6 World Cups with their appearance in the 2026 edition. The rivalry that has carried football for nearly 2 decades is preparing for one final legendary chapter. But here's the twist. The early momentum, the global hype, the fanfare, it's tilting towards Cristiano Ronaldo ever so slightly. Because after the United States, another co-host wants in on some Ronaldo time. Mexico has invited Portugal for a friendly ahead of the World Cup, and this will mark the grand reopening of the renovated and newly branded Mexico City Stadium, formerly the iconic Azteca, a stadium that holds memories of Pele, Maradona, and now possibly Ronaldo. And yes, it's more than just a spectacle. There's a storyline here, because Mexico choosing Portugal over Argentina feels like a deliberate move away from Messi. Let me explain. Now, both Ronaldo and Messi may have left European football, but when a World Cup approaches, they instantly become the center of all attention. It started during the World Cup qualifiers, both dazzling once again for their national teams, but Ronaldo, in typical Ronaldo fashion, grabbed the headlines. That outburst in the Ireland fixture for one, the red card followed, the suspension, that got dramatically changed and became a global debate. It has set the stage ablaze for a dramatic build-up. And then, of course, the iconic moment. The US President Donald Trump hosting Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for dinner, with Cristiano Ronaldo sitting at the table. A moment that wasn't just optics for the political conversations, but also became a World Cup advertisement for the American public. Now, the US national football team will host Portugal before the event too, clearly making the most of Ronaldo's presence. But the US isn't alone. Mexico wants a slice of that Ronaldo attention too. A football-obsessed nation preparing to host the World Cup again after 40 years. Renovating the legendary stadium and wanting to put on a show that garners all the eyeballs. So a friendly with Portugal, and possibly Ronaldo here, makes perfect sense. But it raises one question. Why Portugal? Why not Argentina and Messi? Where is the rivalry? Where is the history? Where is the storyline? Just 4 matches in all has been played, hardly a rivalry there, barely a chapter. If Mexico wanted a marquee face, why not Messi? Why not the biggest Latin American icon? And you've got a historic rivalry there to boot, with the heartbreaks, with a cultural connection and generations of storytelling. So why not Argentina? Why not Messi? Sure, Argentina may have planned friendlies elsewhere, but there's another layer to this, one that many fans have not forgotten. Earlier this year, during the Inter Miami versus Club America pre-season clash, Messi was booed by Mexican fans. And Messi responded with a subtle but unmistakable dig. A celebration that could have meant anything. Argentina's 3-0 dominance over Mexico in World Cups, or Argentina's 3 world titles compared to Mexico's none, or simply Messi letting fans know he heard them. Whatever the intention, the message landed, and from that moment, Messi's popularity in Mexico possibly took a bit of a hit. So maybe Mexico wants to send a quiet message in return. We don't need Messi, we can bring Ronaldo. We can have global star power nevertheless without Argentina in the mix. And the bigger picture is more breathtaking. 2026 could be the final World Cup for both legends. The last epic duel, the last chance for fans to see the 2 greatest players of the modern era sharing the same platform. And the hosts, the US, Canada, Mexico, are milking this rivalry for everything that it's worth. Ronaldo is generating an entirely new fan base in America. Messi is bringing his existing empire of fans from Barcelona, Argentina, and of course the MLS. Mexico just used this rivalry to hype up the event. And the world watching, well, they're divided, excited, emotional. Now, sure, the fan bases will continue to clash. But the recent incidents have made one thing clear. Ronaldo and Messi still control the heartbeat of global football. Their choices influence penalties, dictate friendly fixtures, shape political optics, and drive the narrative of an entire World Cup. Red Bull driver Max Verstappen heads into the season finale fighting for yet another drivers' championship. But there's one area where Red Bull have repeatedly fallen short: Constructors' Championships, and that's because of that second seat. And now, ahead of 2026, Yuki Tsunoda has been axed, and the wonder kid, Isaac Hadjar, has been promoted after a sensational rookie season with Racing Bulls. But is this really a masterstroke, or is the constant musical chairs going to result in another confused season? Ever since Daniel Ricciardo left in 2018, Red Bull have failed in one mission. That's finding a stable second to complement Max Verstappen. They've nailed the machinery, they've nailed strategy, but not quite stability. A flicker of hope came in 2021 when Sergio Perez arrived, an experienced campaigner, a fighter, a perfect team player for Verstappen's universe. And the results were spectacular. Back-to-back constructors' titles, harmony in the garage, a dream pairing on paper. But one poor season in 2024 and Perez was shown the door instantly. Then came the musical chairs carousel. Liam Lawson, the hottest young prospect, was pulled up for 2025. He had just 3 races to prove himself. After Japan, demoted. Red Bull took heat from fans, pundits and even rival teams for crushing the confidence of a 23-year-old before he even got started. In came Yuki Tsunoda, the fan favorite, the passionate, fiery racer, a talent worth backing. And this time, with no constructors' title on the line and the pressure off, Red Bull could afford to give Tsunoda time. He didn't have a blockbuster season, no. But he still scored points in 8 out of 21 races. Respectable, solid, not extraordinary, but steady enough. But for Red Bull, steady isn't enough. They want fireworks. They want instant results. They want the next Verstappen. And that's why Isaac Hadjar fits their philosophy. Hadjar has had a dream rookie season, 10 Grand Prix finishes in the points, a jaw-dropping debut podium at the Dutch Grand Prix. He absolutely deserves a faster car and a bigger stage. But here's the real question. Does he deserve the Red Bull second seat? And is Red Bull even the right environment for a young driver? Because let's be brutally honest here. This team is built around one man. Max Verstappen is the system. He's the priority and he is Red Bull. And the second driver, their job is simple. Support Max, stay out of his way, score enough points to secure the constructors. So how realistic is it for a young driver to thrive in a role that requires them to keep their own ambition in second gear? Look at how other teams groom talent. Mercedes nurtured George Russell under Lewis Hamilton. Then, when Hamilton left, they handed the keys of the team to Russell and are now grooming teenage prodigy Kimi Antonelli right behind him. Ask yourselves this, will Red Bull ever be that patient? This is the same team that has promoted, demoted, re-promoted young drivers like they were running a simulation game. For Verstappen and Perez, the partnership worked because Perez understood his role. He knew he was the number 2. He knew he wasn't fighting Max. He accepted it, embraced it, and he delivered. But a young driver, a rookie, comes with hunger to prove himself, someone who dreams of becoming world champion on his own terms. That's a ticking time bomb. And Tsunoda is the latest casualty. He went from Racing Bulls to Red Bull and now just a reserve driver, not even racing in F1. His confidence shattered, and Lawson's story before him proves it's not a one-off. It's a pattern. So here's the bigger question. Why does Red Bull keep gambling with young drivers if their system clearly isn't built to nurture them? Is this really about performance, or are Red Bull searching for that perfect driver who can be fast, obedient, consistent and invisible? That's key. And all at once. Even the most gifted rookies need oxygen. They need time, patience, support, space to grow, and importantly, the freedom to make mistakes. Will Red Bull give him that? Here's the reality. Isaac Hadjar has earned his shot. Yes, he deserves the seat, he deserves the promotion, but he also deserves a team that won't chew him up the moment he shows struggle. Red Bull here has a choice to make. Either evolve into a team that develops young talent or continue being a one-man empire where second drivers are expendable. Because if they don't change, Hadjar might just become the next name added to that painful list that had brilliant talents but fell prey to the Red Bull second seat curse. Is Isaac Hadjar then the breakthrough here, or the next broken product of a ruthless system? Time for last serve. Morocco's rise in football has been pretty evident. The country reached the semi-finals of the 2022 World Cup, followed it up by winning the under-20 world title. So what is driving their dominance? Well, one academy in Saleh, near Rabat, it will be safe to call this Morocco's football factory, because they don't just train footballers here, they house them, they send them to school, and they train them for world dominance. Take a look. That wraps it up here on Firstpost. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.